Hi everyone, welcome back to the Sedona International Film Festival. We're in our 32nd year. I'm Tanya June Moore. I get to meet the most impressive, profound, local people ever, including this gentleman who you might not know his name, but I bet you know the things that he has been a part of. And if you had the distinct pleasure of being at the film last night at the Mary D. Fisher Theater, they sold out both theaters, Mary D. Fisher and Alice Gill Sheldon. So lots and lots of kudos to this somewhat local. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jim Byrkit, James Ward Byrkit. I'm from Flagstaff, Arizona, and it's great to be here.
It's great to have you back. And you storyboarded Pirates of the Caribbean, and I think
Yes.
let's just start there for those of us who talk to filmmakers every day and are wondering how we do this and what we get to. You storyboarded Pirates of the Caribbean. This is huge.
Yes, yes.
How did this happen?
The first three of the trilogy that were directed by Gore Verbinski. So he's a friend of mine, and ever since I was out of school, I wanted to be a filmmaker, but storyboarding was my way in because it was a talent that I had sort of developed over years. And so Gore was one of the first directors that I met, and as his career escalated, I kept helping him on projects, and then I became a filmmaker, and I was directing commercials, and he called me up, and he's like, man, I know you're directing your own stuff now, but Jerry Bruckheimer wants to make a $100 million version of Pirates of the Caribbean, and I said, yep, I'll be there.
mean, how do you say no?
Yeah.
It's like, woo! And well, there's Bruckheimer involved. And I have a connection with him because he bought a whole town in Kentucky where I grew up. And we have a whole thing about Bruckheimer.
We got to do an episode on that.
It's a pretty interesting little
Wow,
tale.
okay.
You could storyboard a pretty amazing story. Moving from storyboarding something so, how many movies have been made? And you've since moved on from that. That really kicked off your career, though, correct?
Yeah, well, that was definitely a highlight in terms of being around Hollywood blockbusters. And
Yes.
I've worked on a lot of films. I worked on Spider-Man 2 and Sacha Baron Cohen movies, Borat and Baby Driver. But the Pirates movies are just so epic in scale, and we're on location. And I was the first person hired after Gore, and so I got to scout the Caribbean with him and
Very
choose the locations and come up with the action scenes and figure out, what part of the islands are we going to use. And they put me in a helicopter to help scout different places in the Bahamas, which I'd never been there before. So it gets you a window into the world in a way that you wouldn't with any other job. So I'm just very grateful.
Well, you're living the dream. For many, and people come through all the time, and this is what they want, right? What you have. So I'm glad you're thankful for it. I'm glad you see it that way. It's not just Pirates of the Caribbean. I just want to say there's a whole lot more going on with this gentleman. I do want to quickly talk about your storyboard. I have a whole questions about coherence, but you're doing a storyboarding workshop this afternoon?
Yeah, I think at 1 o'clock, storyboarding with examples from all these films and a lot of other things, just to kind of show all the different variations that it might be.
Yes. So if you're into, and I love storyboarding, if you're into that, or if you want to understand how films get made, this would be one to come and see and come and be a part of and watch. But I want to talk about coherence because it's such a Sedona-esque, like woo-woo, multiple timelines, and it's also now a cult classic. Everything that I was reading about it, I was like, oh yeah, okay, this is right up our alley.
Yeah.
I know this is your film, but do you feel that, like that cult classic, that it's come out and how it was created?
It feels like a miracle. This thing I made in my house, basically, just with my friends and in my living room, and somehow we got it to the world 10 years ago, and it had a very sort of soft introduction. We did the film festival circuit, and that was great. We got great reviews, but then little by little, it started spreading to the world, and I started getting fan mail from all over. And then a few years ago, I heard it was the #1 indie movie in China of all time. Like hundreds of millions of people had seen it in China, and then they invited us over. We went to China to sort of tour it and get a glimpse of the audiences and realize just how far it's penetrated into nerd culture. It's not for everybody. It's a super nerd film.
But
right?
we love nerd culture here.
Yeah.
We love nerd culture. We love woo woo. This timelines collapsing. There's comets. There's things that don't work, and other people involved. It's crazy.
It's very Twilight Zone, and it's got a cosmic undertone to it. But it's just 8 people, talking. There's no special effects. It's just relationships, and that was what was really appealing to me, because after all these years of working on blockbusters, I sort of miss those days when I was just, doing theater at NAU and just the director and the actors and that immediacy. And so, yeah, I think my whole life I've been affected by Arizona because, you live in this place where, you live next to a volcano and your house is made of rocks that were spewed from the volcano, and there's meteor crater there, and there's the Grand Canyon, and there's so many epic cosmic things. And when you go for a walk at night and you're talking to your friends, you can see the entire Milky Way behind their head. That doesn't happen everywhere, where you're just surrounded by these things that evoke the timelessness and the universal feeling of what it's like to be on Earth. And so I think all those things got channeled into...
And there was no script.
Right, yeah, it was improvised.
Yeah, I love a good improv, and I mean, improv makes me just ecstatic, because you have to really think. This entire film is improv, but it was led by you who wrote something really specific for each scene,
Yeah,
right?
it's a guided improv. The actors didn't know what was going to happen, but I'd sort of give them clues and hints and give them notes and things like, this is what your character's thinking, or this is a story you should tell later. And they'd kind of, invent their own version of that. So they didn't know how it was going to end. They didn't know who the lead character was. The girl, Emily Baldoni, who plays the lead, she told me, by the 5th day, which was the last day of shooting, she said, I think I'm the lead character in this movie.
I think I did this one. I think you should put me at the top.
Yeah.
Well, and I think somebody who's been in theater, right, you love giving your actors some space and you gave them all the space in the world. Look, this is all I want you to do.
Yeah.
All I want you to do.
I love the collaboration and letting them add something to it. Because again, when you're on a blockbuster, and it's green screen, and it's so expensive, you just have to sort of get the shot you need. You don't have the time to let it breathe sometimes. And I thought, well, what if we did? What if we just threw away the script and got rid of the crew and just let them do what they do and see where it goes?
Please repeat that in that camera to filmmakers. Because so many times they come and they're like, it's all about how perfect it's got to be, or how and I'm like, no, let's have a story, right?
Yeah, and it's tricky because when you are a filmmaker, you get an image in your mind, and sometimes you really want that image. And so I understand when some filmmakers demand it to be that. That makes sense to me. But I've done that, and so I wanted to do the opposite.
We're also in a new era of filmmaking. I mean, filmmaking now is way different than it was even 6 years ago, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You made a film that, it's like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Nobody thought that was going to go anywhere. We're still watching Rocky Horror Picture Show. Coherence is going to be one of those movies. We're going to look back on Coherence, and we're going to watch it in 20 or 30 years, and we're going to go, yeah, and we're going to be doing all the things. The guy with the Band-Aid, it's plastic or it's cloth.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moments where I think that this could just be one of those things that...
Oh, I hope so.
Hope so. It already is.
It's great. They've started doing it as a play around the world. So we get these notices and videos of things where community theaters around the world have started performing it live for audiences. So,
have you seen one yet?
Yeah, I've seen the videos of it.
But not live. You haven't seen it live.
No, because the last one was in Australia. No, the last one was in Argentina, and we were going to fly down, but we'll probably do it next time. And the Argentina one was at the big theater in Buenos Aires with top actors. The one in Australia, they sent us the video, and I was like, this is actually really good. This is a great show. So
you're like, I did that. They took
well,
that.
no, they made it their own thing for sure. But it was inspiring to see how something you do in your living room affects someone halfway around the world.
Well, that's art, and we're in what I think is a renaissance right now. After every plague comes a renaissance.
Yeah, right.
And you're part of that. And
That's
I hope
nice.
that you're just soaking all this in and the joy in of what you've created.
For sure, and being a part of the Sedona Festival for sure is part of that. To come back to a place that I spent so much of my childhood, and to see it in a different way. To be greeted by people that want to see your film and to have workshops and to see the true enthusiasm for it. is such a gift and such a journey for me. You know, I used to do drywall when I was 19. I worked for a construction company, so we'd like blow the drywall and texture the walls on like half the units in West Sedona
No kidding.
when I was 19. Yeah.
No kidding. It's funny how so many people come back to Sedona.
Yeah.
Even if you're just visiting and you've grown up here, or, I mean, there are people in this room that were here in the 70s that came back and were
Yeah.
having, telling stories about what it used to be like, and now it's like this.
Oh yeah.
We've become quite the filmmakers' hub here. In
I love
Sedona.
it. It gives me another reason to come back. You know, my dad was born in Jerome in
No kidding.
1931. Yeah. Yeah. My
the
grandfather
front door.
was the superintendent of the smelter in Clarkdale in the Depression.
No
Depression,
kidding. No kidding.
Yeah.
What a history.
Yeah.
You have to do a little thing about your dad.
I
Maybe
wish.
a little documentary
Oh,
or
I
something.
wish. Yeah. He
You-
made a film in the 70s about the Verde Valley.
Where is it? Why aren't we watching it?
Pat has it. Pat Schweiss has it. Yeah, it's very 70s. It's not.
We
like-
love it. That's okay. Patrick, you are on the spot, Patrick Swayze. We want to see this film from the 70s.
Well,
please.
yes.
Even if it's just a little.
A little bit of it. It's
Yeah.
really fun to see. You know.
I mean, to see where we came from.
little
It was-
time machine. Yeah.
little moment. And I really appreciate you being here, and I really appreciate you sharing your time with us and your expertise.
Of course.
But also inspiring people who were sitting where you were when you were 19 doing drywall in West Sedona.
It's always a potential to sort of meet up with creative people and follow your dream and then see where it goes. But this is really special being here.
Well, thank you. You're really special. You've made our week. I mean, thank you.
And
for
thank you,
coming.
Pat, for making this happen.
Yes, thank you. All right, I'm winding up for the lunch crowd, and after lunch, we're going to have Carol in the seat and a whole afternoon full of filmmaker interviews. So signing out on day 4, I will see you tomorrow morning bright and early.